So this first charts pattern setup is a volatility squeeze breakout on Nvidia. So this is a daily time frame, and what you're seeing here is basically what a volatility squeeze is. It's a period of price consolidation when price comes up or can go down, and then it spends a period of time going sideways, kind of coiling, and then we're looking for a very powerful breakout either to the upside or to the downside. So these are fantastic types of trade setups because you get a really quick, powerful move up, or you can get a quick, powerful move down. So these happen in a short period of time, and time equals risk in trading. So the shorter the duration of the trade, the less risk. So here you can see this is our volatility squeeze indicators. So we've got coded in, we've designed rules that specifically say what a volatility squeeze is. Then we encode those into our trading model, the power cycle trading model. And so when these dots appear, that's the first signal of a squeeze. Now you can see the price here on Nvidia is just really tight range here. It's not going much to the upside or downside, just kind of consolidating around this moving average. So then what we want to do is we look for our momentum indicators down here below. You can see cycle 1, power cycle lower 1, power cycle lower 2, and you can see that we start getting positive momentum on cycle 1 and 2. So first off, here, these are cycle reversal indicators, and we've also got these indicators showing momentum shifting up on these arrows. So then we put in a nice trend line, and when it breaks that trend line, boom, take the trade and look for the shot. And this particular trade setup in Nvidia, you can see it had a very powerful move when it broke that trend line from 171.75 and spiked just in 2 days all the way up to 190. So that's an example there on Nvidia. And this is an example on ABBV, again a daily time frame, a daily volatility squeeze. So you can see these dots here. So the squeeze started here around the 21st of August, and then we had, this is our cycle reversal signal here, that blue, and then we had momentum trigger here. So what we're looking for is this to break to the upside based on these signal triggers, which are based off momentum. So what you want to do is take the trade before the squeeze triggers and the dots go away. So here would be the entry right there on the 24th of August at about 72, and you can see this thing just shot straight up and did really pull back until it got to 89. So using our momentum flow indicators, this multiple time frames of momentum, when that's all lit up green, then that shows you the power and the strength, the validation between that momentum strength, and you just stay with the trade. So that's an example on a volatility squeeze breakout on ABBV. And here's a really good example of another volatility squeeze. This is on ADP, again on a daily time frame. Now here you can see this is what we call a cup pattern, and then you can see a handle. But the key here is you can also see that the volatility squeeze started right here around the 25th. Now when this started here and started popping up, we want to look to get into this trade before it triggers to the upside. So we had a trigger right here from a cycle reversal and momentum starting to shift up, and then right here is where you would take the signal get into this trade before the squeeze actually triggers. So this was ADP, and when it crossed that high, that swing high there, it just really exploded to the upside. But again, we can see these ahead of time, and scan for these types of setups, and then, this is that coiling price action, momentum cycle 1 and 2 down here below. You can see are above 0, so that gives us the direction for the trade, and in that situation it was to the upside. So another volatility squeeze example on ADP. And here's another trade setup with a volatility squeeze. This was on Google, and again on a daily time frame. You can see the dots. This has been in a squeeze for several weeks, and then what you're seeing here is you can see our below here, cycle 1 goes above 0, 2 goes above 0 down here. So we have positive momentum. We had a cycle reversal. You can see our signal trigger indicators here. These are arrows that pop up when we get a reversal plus momentum. So that tells us the probability of direction, which in this case was to the upside. So this was take the trade there on that breakout of that trend line, and that was a volatility squeeze trigger to the upside. So huge momentum there. So it went from like 954, 955 straight up to, didn't pull back till 1,000. So that was on Google. So here's another example. This is on Red Hat, RHT. So you can see the dots here, volatility squeeze. I'll zoom in so you can see that better. So you can see the volatility squeeze here with the dots. So then we get a period of this consolidation, price pulls back. Now you can see here, this is a cycle reversal indicator that we have, so it shows the cycles reversing, and then right here you get momentum, cycle 1 and 2 below, so that indicator pops up, so we want to take the trade in the direction of momentum. So break on that trend line, take the trade, and you're in before the squeeze triggers. And you can see explosive move here on Red Hat, went from like 100 pretty much up to 107, and then here's another, once it took that powerful move, that it started consolidating again here, so another volatility squeeze, and then another trigger to the upside on Red Hat. So very powerful. You can see how tight that price action is, very coiled, and then explosive moves up, and we go into the direction of our momentum as far as telling us where to place the trade, either to the upside or downside. So that was on Red Hat. And then here's the volatility squeeze on Apple. This was back in June. So you can see the dots started here back on about the June the 5th. So it started to consolidate. You can see how kind of tight that pattern is. And then we're looking for direction as to, is this going to break up or is it going to break down? So you can see we started getting cycle reversal signals here, momentum signals. So down below you can see cycle 1, cycle 2 below 0, cycle reversal right here. So this looked the potential of it to break to the downside based on momentum. So trend line break, take the trade, short trade to the downside, big move down on Apple. So these are some of the powerful trades that you get from this volatility squeeze. And here's just an example for intraday as well. And this is an example for an intraday volatility squeeze. This is a 5-minute time frame on the NASDAQ 100 futures. So again, you can see here this volatility squeeze, which, you know, it started coiling here. It was in the squeeze on the 5-minute time frame for a considerable amount of time. And then we're looking for direction based on momentum. So you can see below here, this is our momentum flow indicator. So it's showing 5 time frames or 4 time frames of momentum. It's all positive. So this tells us directionally the probability is for this to break to the upside. So then you can see cycle 1 went to the upside here, 2 was to the upside. So take your shot, take the break here. I like to use trend lines, so break there of the trend line, and had a really nice powerful move up on the NASDAQ 100 futures. And then you can see towards the end of the day another volatility squeeze, again really tight coiling there. Alright, so this was an example in this video series. This is the volatility squeeze breakout.